Hello. Welcome to Learning to Live Life on a Budget. I'm Millie. Hi. For this video, we are going to do an April checkout. So if you've watched my week 5 check-in, you'll see my April budget closeout. So now we're going to do the Budget Mum where did my money go sheets and just look at my trackers for the end of the month of April. It is the beginning of May. I think today is like the 5th, but I run a 5-week month in April, as shown here. It was quite a good month. I achieved my no spend day goal and pay all my bills on time goal. So now is just to really see where my money went. So let's get started. Hopefully this lighting is a bit better. If you watched my last video, I'm really sorry. Terrible filming. And hopefully, yes, you can see the figures. Right, so this is the Budget Mum's Budget by Paycheck workbook. You can buy it as a digital copy to use on the app, on your iPads or tablets, or however you want to do it on your computer. You can buy a download and print version, or if you want the book, she is not making them this year. She normally brings out a new copy each year or two. She's not doing them this year because I think she said due to the price of making it. So get it while stocks last. I am in the UK. I paid about £55 to £60 in the book and shipping and everything else. So yeah, and it comes with even if you can't afford to buy any of it, go on her website, the Budget Mum, spelled M-O-M. Mom, I can't say it, I'm really sorry. And if she's got a free resources page, and if you put your email address in, she'll send you a password, or that's how it was at the end of last year when I last went on the free resource page. And you can get some of these sheets on there, not all of them, but some of them. Oh, and also she does like a 360, so you can flip through the pages of her book and you can see all these pages on there, not written in. So this is my debt payment plan. So on here I had all my debts, so like my daughter's phone, my phone, our tablet, universal credit advance and rent arrears. I had the total amount outstanding on all of them. You can put in the interest rate. I'm really lucky, all of mine are 0% interest. What the minimum payment is, so this is what I pay monthly towards it all, and then the order in which you want them to be paid. So I ordered them that I would clear the rent arrears first, then my daughter's phone because it's lower than my phone, but my phone will be paid off sooner on the minimum payment amount. Then my phone, and then I had universal credit advance next, and then tablet, because I think by the time I would have paid off my phone, the universal credit, I think it runs until, I think I've got like a year left to go on it. So because it's a higher amount, I thought it'd be more to pay that off sooner and roll it into the tablet, but I'm not sure on these two priority, the tablet and universal credit advance. But for now, this month, if you see my previous video, you'll know that I paid all of my arrears off, and I paid off all of my daughter's phone with some extra money coming in. Oh, I didn't fill that in. And I also saved £25 towards my phone. All of my the rent arrears, once that was done, the rest of my debts I have to pay off in full. So that's why I've put that I've saved debt here in a cash envelope, because I'm less likely to dip into it if I've got it accounted for here. And also on this channel, I'd then have to say, oh, why is there not as much in there? So that's not included in my final debt payment figures. So my total debt payments this month, all of these, I didn't include that one because it wasn't needed, and this came to £1,069.73. Amazing. Like, I see people paying off this amount thinking, I'm never going to do that. Even like if you paid off like an extra 200, I always think, God, I'd love to do that. Like, I'm in a position with my debts that I'm fortunate that it's all 0 interest. It's all affordable monthly payments. I'm not paying out £250 a month just to pay off my credit card minimum balance or something like that. I'm very fortunate in that aspect. So my priority is my sinking funds and my emergency fund build up. But it's really nice to have paid this off and been able to, and that's due to back pay in benefits that I received. So yeah. Then you have a monthly debt progress and overall debt progress. So this month, my total debt balance, because I started the tracking from the 1st of April, was 2,134. This month I paid off 1,064. Leave total debt monthly progress is 1,069. Oh yeah, that's what is my debt balance this month after paying off my debts. And I had a 50% progression in my debt this month, which is really good. And then for my overall debt progress, my balance at the end of this month is 1,064. I paid off 1,069 in total, and 50% of it's been paid off. So it's pretty standard because it's the first month of tracking my debts. Actually, and I just want to, I've showed it before in previous videos, but in case you haven't seen it, here is a debt tracker, a debt-free tracker that I printed off from the Budget Mum's free resource website. That's what I'm paying, and I'm counting it up till I get to debt-free, and this is what's left of my debt. And I just colour it in, whether it's extra debt payments or monthly payments. So yeah. Next is net worth tracker. I never really thought about my net worth until I started watching budgeting videos last year. At the beginning of the year, my net worth was well in the minuses. I did work it out in like January or February. It's not nice, especially when I got rid of my car, because what little it was worth like 200 quid. Kind of went. So yeah. But basically you just write in all your assets. So cash balance, I finished off April with 0. I had £116.72 in my bank account. Cash envelope rollover was £15. Sinking fund total was 685. I've spent some out of my sinking funds, and I took 300. There's a £300 monthly rollover, which will be to start May's income. Emergency fund 80. Other savings 45. So like savings challenges and things. My mum. Oh, and that includes my extra debt payment, I think, that I said about for my phone. My mum has £400 of my money saved for me, and then electronics I valued at 600. It would be like if there was a dire emergency and you needed to sell everything, you needed to raise as much money as you could as quickly as you could. So like we have laptop, tablet, both our phones, I have a smart TV. My daughter has a TV. It's not a smart TV, but it's a TV. You could probably get it sell it for like 30 quid. We have a big TV in the living room. Again, not smart TV, but you could sell it for a bit. Wii, Xbox, my daughter has a Switch, all those sorts of things. And they're kind of just estimated. So this is an estimate. It would just be whatever you could grab and you could sell. I think I wrote electronics, but I think it includes like some jewellery. I've got a ring that's valued at about £100. It's probably different now, actually. It's not been valued for a long time. So it was just, yeah, anything I could grab and sell in a dire emergency, and you need to raise as much money as possible. Because I just kind of felt that was like important to, like, you know, a lot of people make side hustle money by selling things, and so I felt that that was important to contribute to my net worth. Not all the little things, but the bigger things that are worth a little something. So that comes to £1,941.72. Then I've got my debt totals at the end of this month here, and I haven't included my student loans because I'm not working, I'm not paying towards them, so they're just sitting there. In the UK, you get student loans from like the government's finance company, and you have to earn, it was 21,000, it might have changed, or over to pay towards it. And if you don't pay it off within 30 years, whatever's left gets wiped. So because I'm on benefits at the moment, I'm not working, when I was working, I didn't earn enough to pay them anyway. So they're just sitting there waiting for me to earn enough to pay them. So there's no point including it at the moment because it's not doing anything, if that makes any sense. My debt's come to £1,064.27. My total net worth is £877.45. So this is, I have a very warped sense of humour. As I said to my daughter, if any kidnappers take me and want a ransom, do not pay over this amount because I'm not worth it. I'm sorry if that offends anyone or upsets anyone. I just have a very strange sense of humour, and we like to joke about silly stuff. But yeah, so that was net worth. Now, down to, these are the sheets that I find really interesting, and this is where the Budget Mum really comes into play for me, and really like the budget sheets and things like that are like really, really handy. But this was what really got me into budgeting, because with my bipolar, I am a very impulsive, frivolous, out of control, like would sell clothes off your back to spend money. Before online shopping was big, actually I didn't think I had any money, but like just to go to the shops, like online shopping gives me a bit of a hit, but not as much. But to go to the shops and just accumulate, and I can't really describe it. I think we all know that compulsion, like, oh, I want to spend, I want this, I want that, I want that. But yeah, so this is where it really like is interesting to me, because, well, I mean, all of it is interesting, but I see where my money went and how much of my money went somewhere. So I started with a rollover into my account. I always have a rollover because I don't get paid till the 19th of every month. So I need something to start the month off with. Luckily, all my main bills come out from the 19th onwards, in the 10 days after that. So, yeah, it kind of like tides us over. And then I had an earned income of this. This is much, much higher than it normally would be. It's a little bit higher. It was more than I thought I was going to get. And then I had another income. That was, so I received a large amount of back pay from my disability benefit, and I gave it to my mum. And then this was what was left after I paid off debt, and I bought some things for the house, and I needed a new washing machine. We needed, my daughter was getting a double bed. I wanted to get her one. So this was what was left from that. It's just all my other incomes added up. And so my income total for the month was £4,372.26. Sorry, I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee. It's going cold. I'm doing back-to-back videos. So if it sounds like I'm a bit rushed, it's because I feel a bit frazzled today by everything. I wanted to do the numbers with you on camera, but I had trouble adding up my budget and kept doing it wrong. So I just did all of it, and I just thought I would do a run through of it. So this is all my expenses in April. That's what month we're in. I'm going to stand bills, electric, is where all my money would have gone. I've got a section here, the money I put into sinking funds and savings, because technically I take it out, but then I have like a track here of what's spent. So I've got my budget for the month, and I have what I spent for the month, and then the difference. As you can see, bills and travel were the only things that were under budget this month. Now that's okay, because when I did this budget, I wasn't expecting my income to be this. Put it like that. I hope you can see the figures. Yeah, so when I did these numbers, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting at least half, if not under half of this. So it may seem like, oh my gosh, she's overspent so much. I mean, that's what I did. I was like, oh my God, you know, I've done a total and I overspent by £2,231. And actually, I'd only budgeted to spend £1,999. So I'm just saying to myself, you know, this is where I find it really interesting, the nitty gritty. I'm really sorry if this is boring you. But for me, it's like, because it's the percentages. I ended up going to 2 decimal places. Normally I just round up when I don't have decimal places, but it was such a large amount of money. And then sort of like, yeah, £80 spent is 1.83% of my budget. So I just needed to go a bit further in so I could see in more detail. So my biggest percentage for this month, oh, just before that, I forgot to add in my bank rollover, because obviously money has gone towards that, because I took money out of my sinking funds that's for my next month rollover, and put it back into my budget as another income, and then didn't account for it. And so I got 96.7, but actually when I added in my May rollover, I ended up with 93.37. So yeah, sweet. So I don't know what's happened there, but for some reason I'm nearly at 100% spending, but I was £15 off on my actual monthly budget. £15 that I don't really know what I've done with it. It's really bugging me. I must have added something up wrong. I don't know. Yes, so my biggest spending this month, according to my percentages, is my extra debt payment. Is that right? So as I've just said, I made a big debt payment of £1,070.73, and that was 25% of my budget. Nearly 24.49%. So that's where, let's just mark that off. Number 1, I put little marks where I wanted to talk. What about that mark? Number 1, but that's a good proportion to, you know, it's not normal, or normal for my budget. Maybe normal for others, but not for me. And we certainly won't be seeing this again anytime soon. But I think that's a good chunk to have go out on the budget. My next biggest budget thing was bills, which is understandable. At 21.33%, that includes my rent, all my bills and things like that. It did come under budget. That's because I didn't have to pay council tax, and my gas bill, my gas direct debit was a lot cheaper than I budgeted for. So that's why it's under budget, but everything got paid as it should. And of course, sort of like, that is going to be your biggest spend, isn't it? Or I don't know, is it everyone's biggest spend? So if you do these sorts of calculations, looking at the percentages of where your budget goes to, please let me know, because is your biggest percentage of your budget going towards your rent and your bills? I'm interested now. Anyway, so yeah, those two, I kind of expected that to be that, and I'm glad it's that, rather than eating out being my biggest percentage. But we'll get to eating out. Oh no, spending is the one that has the star next to it. So after the 2 standard ones, next in line is my sinking funds, which was 20% of my income went on sinking funds, which actually, I think, you know, extra debt, bills, sinking funds, I'm doing something right here, right? Like, woo! I don't know, like, it feels good, and it makes sense almost. But what I've changed on this sheet for next month is I'm going to have my monthly rollover as separate, because obviously it says I've put £910 into sinking funds, but actually 300 of that is used to pay for the beginning of the following month. So it's tricky. Then after that, so I've got 1, 2, 3, and then it's my next one, the dodgy one. Spending £264.75. It's a lot. It is a lot, and it was 6% of my budget. So we've gone from, it's next in line as well, we've gone from 20% to 6%. So I think to myself, oh, 6% isn't a lot. Like, if you was to divide up a pizza, like a circle or something, pizza is the one we used to use when I worked in schools a lot, or cake. divide it up and the colour in the amount of percentage. It's not a lot, but it feels like a lot of money. And I think back and we've bought things like, so in the last week, school bits, we've used it to top up food shops, or, well, I haven't, the money that's allocated for spending that's gone on food shops has been put as a food shop, or if it's been treats and stuff, or we've got like, oh, what's it? I want to say eating out meal deals this week. It's a bit of a miss and match, and it is going to be an area of focus. So that is number 4, but it is going to be an area of focus for the coming month. My pen's running out, so spending next week might go on another pen because I love these. I might try and take a trip up to Home Bargains. It's really not near me. Like, it is, if I had a car, it'd be like a 20-minute drive. Or even, that's in bad traffic. Good traffic would be about 10. But I've got to pay the bus, it's about £5. Or to walk it would probably take an hour, and then I'd collapse when I got there. So yeah, someone said they got them from home, who said they got them from Home Bargains? If you're watching this and you said in your video you got them from Home Bargains, please leave me a comment so we can credit you. I'd just like to try them, or if anyone knows of any cheaper versions, because these are so expensive, but they're a lifeline. Like, I'm constantly rubbing out. Like you can see, I've done bits in other colours because I've rubbed them out and redone it, and sometimes I do it in a different colour just so that I can see it's different, that I've changed it. So spending is one that I'm going to be watching and tracking a bit more. I'll show you that in May's budget setup video, where I'm going to track that. So after my 6% on spending, I have 4% on food. So that's my, normally I'd only do 3 top ones, but because 2 of them were like really good ones, I wanted to highlight them. Yeah, 4% on food. That's not a lot really, when I spent 6% on spending. I wanted to spend more than I wanted to eat. No. And not bad. Like, I only, considering I had a higher income, and it was a 5-week month, and I budgeted quite low, my food budget is going to be higher for the following month. It's going to be 200. So the 160 to stretch a 5-week month to only go £25 over, I'm kind of proud of myself. That sounds really silly, but it was a really low budget, and we do have a lot of food in, but I often look at that food and go, no, I don't want it. Or I like to have a couple of extra meals in. So 2 nights ago we was meant to have chicken drumsticks and rice, like a Chinese style, and Chinese style salad. I don't know if you can call it that. It was Oriental style, like, you know, like the baton spring onions and all of that. And I kind of just looked at my daughter and I went, I really fancy like a tomato and vegetable pasta. And I have a big chest freezer, so I've got lots of frozen veggies in there and that, and always have an abundance of onions and celery and garlic and all of that, and lots of passata cartons, so I don't need to buy pasta sauces. And so we did that instead. She was like, oh yeah, I really fancy that. And so we had like vegetable pasta with garlic bread. So I do like to have extra meals in the house, and we did have a lot in, so I could justify having a low budget. But I'm glad that I didn't go like too over budget. I think if I'd gone over £200 for the month, I would be like, why? It's not needed, especially as it's just for food. So yeah, that's my 5th top for the month at 4.23%. And then the last one I wanted to mention, number 6, was eating out. So food spending was 4.23% of my budget, but eating out was 3.51%. Now, when I worked it out that I'd spent £153.30 for the whole month on eating out, I felt a bit sick. It has been a lot higher, I will just say that, when I've not been well and stuff. Not just cold and flu and well, but with the bipolar and things. Just, I think we all relate, don't we? Sometimes with mental health struggles and that, sometimes you just can't can't do it, whatever. Just easier to pick up the phone, especially now. All these online ordering and paying by card. It's just, so I have spent more than that. I'm ashamed to say that I've hit well over 200 to 250 probably, more before I was tracking and I was kind of oblivious. So I did see that and I was like, I'm just not getting it. I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere with it. But then I saw it was 3% of my budget. I'm like, okay, it's not the biggest one. It's not even the highest one out of my actual spending envelopes. You know, it's not, it'll take out the bills, the sinking funds and the extra debt. It's not even the highest one out of that. And it's lower than my food shopping. But it's still, what else is there? I spent 1% on cats. It's like food and bits for them. 0.46% on travelling. Like, if I had less takeaways, then maybe we could have gone out somewhere for the day. I mean, my anxiety hasn't been great this month, so I haven't really wanted to go anywhere. But, you know, or I could have put more into my daughter's pocket money or into a fun envelope for us. I don't know. Maybe it's just where we choose to put the budget. In fact, this is a lie. This isn't my 6th biggest one. I've just noticed. Payday Spending was higher than that. So again, it's a spending one. I'm going to put them joint 6. So I'll Payday Spending and eating out and spending are where I want to look at next month. Payday Spending is a new one, but I want to see if it's actually worthwhile for me or if I'm just putting more money to spending. So Payday Spending, I'm not going to go on Etsy. I'm going to try and avoid it for May. I've done a bigger order from a couple of shops. And that will probably come in the next couple of weeks. It'll come mid-May. So I'm going to try and I want like a new arm for my phone for recording. That's on the Payday Spending. And I'm sure my daughter will need some bits. Yeah. So that one is I've got my beady little eye on it, but it's not a concern. But these two are like, okay. But I have upped the eating out budget for this month. No, for May. I think I've put it at £60. I'm not sure. It might be more. It might be less. I think it's 60. I think I worked it out. It's about £15 a week. Or I can roll it over. So I'm going to try and get this down, basically. I don't know. Maybe I just need to allow myself one takeaway a week or something, but they're just getting so expensive. And like, you used to pay a charge if you paid by card, but it was like free if it was by cash. Like no, not free, but no charges. And now the delivery charges are all going up, understandably, because of fuel and everything else. But there's a McDonald's, about a 15-minute walk from me. I won't go out for it. I should. Because the delivery charge is £3.50. And I'm like, there is no way that it costs you £3.50 to deliver it. I know you've got to pay your drivers and things like that, but I can get a Domino's from the other side of town, which would take me about 25 minutes to walk. And that delivery charge is £2. I don't know. So things like delivery charges, service charges is now on all payments, including cash, because I'm trying to not leave any money in my bank account, because a lot of takeaways on Just Eat won't deliver unless I have a card payment. But yeah, so it's just getting so expensive. It's like, is it affordable? And is it where I want my money to go? If I want my money to go towards eating out, I'd like to go out to restaurants, but anxiety, and I've already blown the money, doesn't allow it. So I'm just trying to figure out, I'm going to try increasing it for this month, the budget, and see where we're at next month. So yeah, that's why I like this, because I see the numbers and I'm like, oh my gosh, I went over budget here, I went over budget here. But when I see the proportions of the percentages, I'm like, okay, take a breath. And I don't know if anyone else finds that interesting. If you do, like, please, like, let me know. What's next? We're nearly done. We're getting there. We're getting there. So where did my money go? Debt and savings breakdown. So basically, I just listed all my debt categories here and what I paid for the month. So obviously rent arrears is 900. Please excuse the highlighter that's seeped through. And then all my savings categories. So what I put into all my savings, I've included my extra debt payment here because it is a saving. And then, so debt is total monthly inflow. So basically it was everything that I had for the month, you know, other income, rollover, any savings I used, everything. And then my monthly debt payoff, which was $1,069, and it worked out a percentage. So if you have the, I'll show you, if you have the book, and you'll know, it tells you how to like do the sum to work out the percentage of your, so that's my whole monthly income, and 24% of my income went to debt. So that's how I knew that I had added it up right here, because it worked out the same. But for savings, it only does your income, so it didn't include, it wasn't this number, it was just literally what I earned. And I saved £1,035 this month. I feel really proud. I feel like that's wrong as well. My sinking funds was different, but anyway, it did her sum, the Budget Mum sum, and 40% of my income went to savings, if that's correct. But yeah, so it's nice to see the percentages on it say like, oh, I saved nearly half of my monthly income. So last big page, again, this is a percentages page. Where did my money go? So basically, if you've watched my videos from when I first started, I dropped off the face of the earth for the first 2 weeks of March, and then came back and budgeted from when I got paid. So I have like my main payday in March in this, so it will be very different next week, the next month and the month after, but it's how my income has changed. You can't even see that, I'm really sorry. It's how my income has changed, like what's the difference. So that's that. And then basically all this is this sheet on here. So I really hope you can see that, because my writing's really small on this page. There's a lot to cram in. You basically write everything you spent in, you have your categories, and then you write everything you spent on the previous month and the percentage, everything you've spent this month and the percentage, which we've already seen. March's was very low because it was only for 2 weeks. I mean, most of my bills got paid. And then any change the amount wise, and I've done it as a higher or lower, because I didn't want to do like it was a bad, negative, or overspend or whatever, because sinking funds will be higher this month, but that's a good thing, because I only put £280 into sinking funds in March, but April I put 910, and that's a good thing to me, that it was £630 difference. So I just did a higher and lower, but yeah, so I just a quick scan, because well, March was only 2 weeks and my income was a lot lower. 55% of my budget went to bills, whereas this month only 21.33% did. In the 2 weeks of March that I tracked for, I spent £108.78 on my food shopping. This month I spent £184.95. So that tells me that, because I've written that it's a 2 weeks here, I actually did really well, and it'll be really nice to sit and compare these different aspects, like where the money has gone month to month. I don't know, I really like it, and I really like, sorry, it's really messy where I've rubbed out so many times. Eating out has stayed the same. The numbers have changed, and this is only for a 2 week period, so God help me. Please, someone. If only I could lose weight by eating takeaways, I'd be a stick and segs. But no, it's 3.5% for the 2 weeks in March and this month. So I spent a lot more, £96.19 more, but actually the percentages work out the same. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this one. I won't run through them all, because again, March is not accurate because it is only for 2 weeks. So there's 2 weeks that are unaccounted for in it, really. And then I'll just quickly show you my meal plan for the month. I wrote out a meal plan. I highlighted so I could highlight which weeks were what. So this nice green here was a week 2. We actually had that the other day. So week 5 tick. I didn't even highlight for week 5. I think I'd just given up. and I went with what we had in the house. And then I've crossed out all the ones we've had. So if I had it on that week, I'll tick it. So I've just written week 5 and ticked it because I don't have the week 5 highlighter next to me. And then I've circled the ones we didn't have. Now, some of these I have in the house, but some of these I don't. Like I have the tortellini pasta, you can freeze it, so it's in the freezer. I have stuff for gammon, egg and chips as well. And some of these, like Irish chicken stew, I don't have the stuff for, and things like that, or curry. But just to kind of see, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 meals that I said I was going to make that I didn't. But I haven't shopped for all of them. It's quite a high amount. So I've either cooked something different. I know there's like a food share on my road for people. It's basically stuff that's going to go out of date the next day. As a low income, usually, I go along before everyone else. Like there's a group of us that are in the know, and then it gets shared out with the whole road. I live in a really big estate, and there's like cream in one of them, and I had chicken breast, so we made like creamy chicken pasta and stuff like that. And I had stir fry one week because of it. So yeah, that also changes our meal plan, because obviously I can't plan for that because it's once a week. We don't know if she's going to come that week. So when I say sandwiches and crisps, she'll come with, some weeks she'll have loads of fancy sandwiches and stuff, and like really nice cakes. And so me and my daughter do like an afternoon tea style food. So it's really hard to budget for that. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else in April that I need to show you, because this is my first month doing it as well. I've updated like my sinking fund tracker, what the amount was in my sinking funds at the beginning of the month, yearly savings, but I feel like this is the same as all the sinking fund stuff. I need to, so the Budget Mum has, I won't show you the end, like a yearly spending overview, and it's the same, but it's just over the year. And so I should probably do that later on. And yeah, debt paid, and that's it really. I do have not a net worth tracker, a credit score tracker. My credit score is really bad, but it's gone up 55 in the last month. So, and that's because of my bankruptcy. My goal is 700. I don't think I'll achieve that in the year. I don't know. I've got up 55 in a month. I'm at 500. Maybe it's doable, but it's just, again, something that because of the bankruptcy, if I ever wanted to like buy a car on finance, or maybe like get a buy a house or something long term, like I need that to be better. So again, it's just something for me to track. So yeah, that is April's budget completely closed. If you know marketing, you'll know that's finished. Some things never leave you, do they? So thank you for joining. I'm sorry if it's felt a little bit frazzled and just wanting to get it done. April is done. It's been a really good month from the fact that I thought I wasn't going to have hardly any income, and I've had quite a lot of income, a lot more. I don't think I've ever earned that amount ever in a month, or had that amount ever in a month, or if I have, it's gone like that. So it's never been budgeted and put in places like 24% of debt payment. But it's been quite stressful trying to manage it. You know, I went from a stressful budget of not having enough money to do a budget for the whole month, or a healthy enough one for the month where we weren't in the negative, or at zero. And then I've gone to having loads of money thrown at me and triggering the need to spend. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting me and following me on my journey. It really means a lot. I hope everyone's doing okay. If you're struggling with anything, please do reach out to someone. I'm really rubbish at messaging and replying, but I will always get back to you at some point if you have any questions, or if you're budget, mental health, or whatever. Then, you know, please feel free. Please don't be offended if I don't reply for a day or two, because I am very rubbish and I lose my phone regularly. Yeah, I just hope everyone's doing okay, and I will see you soon. Bye.